The Rhubarb-Pie from Bill Nye's Sparks by Edgar Wilson Nye. Bill Nye. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Dale Grothman. Rhubarb-Pie by Bill Nye. In June, the medicated tropical fruit known as rhubarb-pie is in full bloom. The farmer goes forth into his garden to find out where the coy old setting hen is hiding from the vulgar gaze, and he discovers that his pie plant is ripe. Then he forms a syndicate with his wife for the purpose of publishing the seditious and rebellious pie. It is singular that the War Department has never looked into a scheme for fighting the Indians with rhubarb pie, instead of the regular army. One half of the army could then put in its time court-martialing the other half, and all would be well. Rhubarb undoubtedly has its place in the Matria Medica, but when it sneaks into the pie of commerce, it is out of place. Castor oil and capsicum and dynamite and chloroform and porous plasters and arsenic all have their uses one way or another, but they would not presume to enter into the composition of a pie. They know it would not be tolerated, but rhubarb, elated with its success as a drug, forgets its humble origins and aspires to become an article of diet. Now the pumpkin knows its place. You never knew of a pumpkin trying to monkey with science. Pumpkin knows that it was born to bury itself in the bosom of a pumpkin pie. It does not, therefore, go about the country claiming to be a remedy for spavin. Supposing that the gory yet toothsome steak that grows on the back of a 21-year-old steer's neck should claim for itself that it could go into a drugstore and cure rheumatism and heartburn. Wouldn't everyone say that it was out of place and uncalled for? Certainly. The back of the tough old steer's neck knows that it is destined for mince pie, and nature did not intend otherwise. So also with the vulcanized gristle and Arctic overshoe heel, and the shoestring, and the white button, and all those elements that go to make up a mince pie. They do not try to be medicines and cordials and anecdotes of themselves. Rhubarb is the only thing that successfully holds its place with the apothecary and yet draws a salary in the pie business. I do not know how others may look at this matter, but I do not think it is right. Still, you may find this medicated pie in the social circles everywhere. We guard our homes with the strictest surveillance in other matters, and yet we allow the low, vulgar pie plant pie to creep into our homes and into our hearts. That is, it creeps into our hearts figuratively speaking. The heart is not, as a matter of fact, one of the digestive organs, but I use the term just as all poets do under like circumstances. Many, however, will always continue to use the rhubarb pie, and for those I give below a recipe which has stood the test of time, one which results in a pie that frosts and sudden atmospheric changes cannot injure. None but the youngest rhubarb should be used in making pies. Go out and kill your rhubarb with a club, taking care not to kill the old and tough variety. Give it a chance to repent. Remove the skin carefully and take out the digestive economy of the plant. Be specifically careful to get off the fuzzy coating, as rhubarb pies with hair on are not in such favor as they were when the country was new. Now put in the basement of cement and throw on your rhubarb. Flavor with linseed oil and hammer out the top crust until it is moderately thin. Then solder on the cover and drill holes for the copper rivets. Having headed the rivets in place, nail on zinc monogram and kiln dry the pie slowly. When it is cooled, put on 2 coats of metallic paint and adjust the time lock. After you find that the pie is impervious to the action of chilled steel or acids, remove and feed it to the man who cheerfully pays for his whiskey and steals his newspaper. The end of The Rhubarb-Pie by Bill Nye.